everyone and welcome to my November TBR Assemble. If you don't know what TBR Assemble is, I will leave a link up above to the original video where I do the full explanation, but it is essentially my Avengers based TBR game. So let's just get right into the roles and exactly what I'm reading. So today we're going to be using a zombie Sam as a counter because I didn't get to use any of my zombie counters during September, which was when Marvel Zombies came out, or during October either, so we're going to be using them in September. And we're going to use Sam because I just really wanted to use Sam, to be honest. And we're going to start on 39, which is where we were last time, and let's go with role number 1, which is a 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're starting with the Power Stone, which is fantasy, and if I can keep hold of these things, for some unknown reason I keep on wanting these to slip out my hands, but okay, I'm going to go over here into this clump, and that is I Went for the Head, a book over 500 pages. Oh no, I was really hoping for to not get this one, damn it. My first prompt was I Went for the Head, which is to read a fantasy book over 500 pages, and I am not happy, I won't lie, because I've got a very busy month this month and I did not want to be reading 500 page books, but apparently I'm going to be, and so what I've decided to read is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang, which comes in at, according to my notes, 541 pages, so it's definitely over 500. And I'm slightly scared because this is a chunker. I know this is going to take me a lot of time to read. I don't really have that much time, but we'll see what happens. Either way, I pulled the card. I'm going to have to do it. So I'm reading Catabasis this month apparently, and as far as I know, this one is about 2 academics who end up going down to hell to save their professor, if I remember rightly. That's all I really know, that's all I really want to know. I just know that I've really wanted to read this book, I wanted to read it before the end of the year, and apparently that is happening in November. Anyway, moving on with role number 2, and that is a 3, so 1, 2, 3. Thank God we've got some comics in here for the Time Stone. I'm going to need it apparently. I'm going to go over here for this one. And that is Milena, a scientist main character. Definitely got some of those somewhere. Definitely. Next up was a prompt I liked much better, which is to read a scientist main character in a comic, and it turns out I do not actually have that many comics I really want to read right now that I'm not saving for certain things next year that have scientist main characters, because I was like, oh yeah, I'll read some Iron Man, and then went, actually no, RDJ is back in Doomsday and I have a theory he's actually going to be a variant on Tony, so I'm going to want all of the Iron Man comics then. And then I was like, oh yeah, but then I could also maybe read some Hulk, and then went, no, he's back in Spider-Man Brand New Day, so I'm going to be wanting to read Hulk books then. And then I was like, what about Spider-Man? And then went, no, Spider-Man is out next year. So I kind of struggled on this one, I won't lie. But then I remembered the one comic book series I have wanted to read for a very long time now is the Ed Brubaker Captain America run. And I know Captain America is not actually a scientist, he's nowhere near a scientist, but this is also the run that actually brings about Bucky Barnes and brings him back as the Winter Soldier, and it's that big plot twist, who the hell is Bucky moment. And obviously, because Bucky is a assassin in this and he is brainwashed and all of this kind of thing, there will be scientists. So that is what I'm going for. I am going for the Ed Brubaker Captain America run. And I'm not going to be saying I'm going to read the whole thing, because that's like 25 volumes long and that is not happening. But at the very least, if I can get up to maybe this one, which is the Death of Captain America, I'll be quite happy, because this is like 5 or 6 volumes in, so I'll have gotten a nice way into it and it will be quite fun. And if I get to Captain America Reborn, I will be absolutely ecstatic. It's not happening, it's definitely not happening, but this is my stretch goal. If I can get to this maybe in December, that'd be great, but at the very least, if I get up to the Death of Captain America, I will be happy. Role number 3 is a 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is sci-fi for the Space Stone. Let's go into this little clump here as well. I'm going to go for this one, I think, Sprite, a middle grade. My next prompt was Sprite, which is to read a middle grade sci-fi, and it turns out I don't actually own any novels that are middle grade sci-fis that I have not read yet. I genuinely thought I had it as some, but it turns out they're all YA or adult, so I genuinely didn't have any, so I had to stretch this out a bit and not go for a novel, and instead go for a comic, which then explains why I couldn't use it for Milena, because I'm going to be going for the comic Unstoppable Wasp Volume 2, and maybe also the second half of the series as well, or the new series. Either way, the 3 volumes that are available about Unstoppable Wasp, because this series is all about Nadia Van Dyne, who is the child of Hank Pym. She's freshly escaped from the Red Room and now she's in America, trying to find out more about her father while also saving the day, being a superhero, and all of this kind of thing. I really enjoyed the first volume when I read it. It was so much fun, really light-hearted, a really fun middle grade also to give to young kids to get them into STEM and all of this kind of thing, and I had a great time with it. I've been meaning to continue on with this series ever since I read the first volume earlier this year, and now is the time to do it because the prompt has finally come up and it is literally the only thing I could use for this prompt, so I'm going to be reading this one, and I am really excited to finally continue on with this series. And if I remember rightly as well, Bucky does make a cameo in this one along with Jeff the Land Shark, which is just going to make my fangirl heart so unbelievably happy. So very excited to finally be reading this series and hopefully finishing it out this month. Roll number 4 is a 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fanfiction, perfect. Roll number 5, actually, yeah, it's 5, is a 2, so 1, 2. We're going for retellings. We're really going for it in different categories today. I usually end up just with 1 or 2, but today we seem to be going for all of them. So, I'm gonna go this one here, I think. Sylvie, a female-led retelling. I definitely have those around. Next up was Sylvie, which is to read a female-led retelling, so I'm going for The Glass Coffin. This is by Gabby Hutchinson Crouch, and it is the final one in the Darkwood series, which is essentially a series which is a middle grade, actually, where a whole bunch of fairy tale characters all live within the Darkwood, and it is a very satirical take on fairy tales, also our world, all of this kind of thing, and I absolutely love this series. I've read the first 2 now. This is the final one in the series, and I'm really excited to round it off. I love the interpretations in here of all of the different fairy tales. I am so desperate for a Snow White spin-off, quite frankly, because she is fantastic in this series, and it is just a really fun time, and I really want to finish this series out this year, so I'm taking the opportunity to do that with this prompt. And finally, roll number 6. Let's see if I can get a... Yes, I can. Own voices. Brilliant. I have covered everything, and I don't think I've ever done that in the history of TBR Assemble. So, let's see what Own Voice is going to give me. That was a terrible fan. That is marginally better, and I'm going to go into this little clump here because it seems to be working for me. And that is Shuri, a black author or main character. I can definitely figure something out for that. And then my final prompt, and for the first time ever I've collected every single Infinity Stone, which is incredible. This never usually happens. But anyway, my final prompt was Shuri, which is to read a black author or main character. So I'm going for Somedina by Akwaeke Emezi, and this one, it just says, the spirit world granted these powers for a reason. And if I remember rightly, this one is about 2 twins, yes, who end up with different powers, and it all goes from there. I've heard amazing things about this book. I've been desperate to read it ever since I found out about it, and definitely ever since it dropped through my door a couple of months ago, so I'm finally going to be reading it this month. And that was the end of my main TBR, and I know I said I have a very busy month ahead, but that doesn't mean that that is going to be the end of my TBR. I've got 4 other things I also want to mention because I am me, and apparently I can't just leave it at 6 things. So the first thing I want to read as well is Cemetery Boys. This is by Aidan Thomas, and it is about basically summoning a ghost and then our main character can't get rid of them. That's all I really know. That's all I really want to know. I've been wanting to read this one for a very, very long time now. I have heard amazing things about it. I want to be also continuing on that kind of spooky Halloween feeling as well, so I'm going to be doing that with this book. There is also Berserker. This one is by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint, and this one is about a guy who is half mortal, half god, and essentially he is forced to fight in wars and this kind of thing to eventually get to the knowledge of why he has been created and also how to end his life. And this just sounds incredible. I've heard amazing things about it. I am also a massive Keanu Reeves fan and have been since I was a kid, so I've been meaning to read this for a while now, so I'm finally going to put it on this list and hopefully get to it. There is also Kickflip. This one is by L.D. Lipinski, and this one is about a young person discovering that they are non-binary and what that means for them and this kind of thing, and I am so excited about this. I've heard that this is a wonderful graphic novel and it's one that I've been really interested in for a while, so I'm finally going to be giving this one a read as well this month. I also have A Small Matter of Impending Catastrophe, which is admittedly downstairs. I meant to bring it up and I forgot, but either way, that is going to be another one I am reading, and this one is the latest one in the Skullduggery Pleasant series. Admittedly, it is taking me everything I have to not just run downstairs and just read it immediately, but I do not have to do time to do that right now. I've listened to the podcast version, so I do know the basic storyline of it, so I'm not basically having that much FOMO at the moment, but I do want to be reading that in November as well. And finally, as for my audiobook, there is The Unfinished by Cheryl Isaacs, and if I remember rightly, this one is about a haunted house, and I wanted, like I said earlier, to carry on that kind of spooky October feeling, and this one sounds perfect for it, so I'm going to be giving this one a read as an audiobook. And this is my finished TBR for November, and I'm pretty damn happy with it, if I'm honest, because I've got a little bit of Captain America and Bucky Barnes in there to keep the hyperfixation happy. I've also got Cemetery Boys, which means I've got some ghosts and necromancy things, along with the haunted house with The Unfinished, which means I've got that little bit of spooky element in there as well to keep the Halloween feeling going. I've also got as well a little bit of Keanu Reeves, again to keep the fangirl heart happy. I've got a little bit of coming of age contemporary for when I need a break from the heavier stuff. I've also got Trips Down to Hell and Dark Academia, and then more superpower people as well, which just brings me so much joy. There's a lot of stuff in here that I'm really, really excited for, and I'm really happy with how this TBR has turned out, but I'm going to have to put this down now because that's very, very, very heavy. But that is where I'm going to leave this video, because quite frankly that stack is very, very heavy and I can't hold it up for much longer. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me what you're reading in November. I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a devil emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave the link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But till next time everyone, bye!